Welcome to Toronto, Darcie. It's so
Thank
wonderful to have you here for this opening of your second solo exhibition here at Feheley Fine Arts. So welcome to the city.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
I got a chance to know your work starting back in 2018, 2019
Oh my God.
in my role at the Inuit Art Foundation when we partnered with you on an exhibition at Art Toronto. And have been kind of following along. I'm grateful that the McMichael has two of your works in the collection, both of which are currently up on display. So if you'd like to see more of Darcie's work, please stop on by the McMichael and get to see some of their work in a greater context. But I wonder if you could start, we're going to talk about a lot of the works in the show. We're going to kind of casually move through the space and maybe speak directly to certain elements of certain works. But I wonder if you could start talking about where you grew up, where you're from, and really what is at the core of the work that you're making.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was born in Inuit, Northwest Territories, and I grew up in Tuktoyaktuk, Northwest Territories along the coast. And I spent majority of my time there. I feel like a big part of my identity was just being on the land, and then as I got older, I started to go and visit my family in Fort McPherson, and I have lineage and family there. And I think the biggest thing when I started making art making was my mom would just have, she's a seamstress, so she would just have like that painting specifically, there would just be patterns all across the floor, and I just and there's colors, and it's just like, what do you think about these? And I think when I think about artists, and those are the ones that made me think about color, concept, shape, and I think that conversation started when I was fairly young.
Cool. And so we can see there on the ironing board and on the floor are these kind of pattern pieces in this work. Do you want to say the name of this work?
It's called Kimminglok, and that's just it's a hidden joke with the Super Nintendo game. And my grandma used to call that. She didn't call it Super. She was like, no, we're gonna call it this. So it's like a hidden joke that we'd play this game together, and it's a little snippet, and it's just a fun word to say as well.
One of the key aspects of some of the earlier work was the presence of the figure, the presence of your Nanuk, your grandmother, and your Jiju, your other grandmother. But a lot of the works that we're looking at are kind of unpeopled interiors. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what it is about these spaces and why you chose to represent them without figures. Yeah,
I really I liked my previous show and having literally all my family kind of like portraits and scenes that were family photos, and then thinking about the next show that I was really interested in was the landscapes or color. I think it was more of a conceptual focus on a moment. What would that look like? So, for this piece, it's not her full figure, but it's her focusing on the hands, and it's the action of her playing the Nevada's game. So it's more about the focus, about the object and the action, and I want to try to capture a sound, a feeling, rather than the full figure as the center point.
Yeah. And so while the place that's depicted in all of the works here is your home territory, you're currently based in Halifax. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about where this imagery is drawn from, how you're making these works.
A combination of them are photos when I do visit home, and some of them are photos from years ago, but not very old archives, like the very old iPhone photos, so it's very grainy, which I like to work with because it's like, it's not quite the angle. And for me, I like to play with the composition more. And yeah, they're mostly like older and new photos that I use. And I have like my own film camera now, so I have like an actual way to document now, and it's not as instantaneous as an iPhone. Yeah, so it's like a combination of going back home and doing my own archiving now.
And then, so I think that the result is that there are certain things, like it took me a while looking at this painting to realize that in the foreground it's like a patterned sofa. And I think the more you look at these paintings, the better rewarded you are from kind of getting clued into certain details. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about this one. It's such a striking image and quite a little bit different. So I wonder if you could describe people what we're looking at and what drew you to this particular composition.
Yeah. I find with most of the works, I do love to have a detail in each of like the paintings. So I like the control of it, but there's also a piece where I like to have a little bit more play, a little bit more gestural, and I've always wanted to do a skidoo painting, so it just, you know, it's like, it's probably the most I've spent time with, and it's like a 92 Yamaha Phasar, so it's like a very, it's my dad's pride and joy, you know, so if you don't have a quad, you use the skidoo to go around to go get berries, or if you're going hunting. So it kind of just stays there all year sometimes because you don't want to bring it when the ice melts. So it's a nice like nod to like how like the flowers and the land just kind of form, and I think around it. Yeah. Plus I love the red Phasar too, so the colors just, I love, yeah. Yeah,
and I mean, there's this gorgeous pattern of this red and blue throughout on this. You can imagine the kind of stripe there. The 1992 date makes a lot of sense, I think. Speaking of pattern, it is such a kind, I think, integral element of your work, and goes back to even the earliest works that I knew of yours, which were completely abstract works of a repeated pattern. For those interested, there's actually a work on the other side of this wall that you can see as you walk through the gallery that is one of these kind of all over abstract patterns. I wonder if you could talk about pattern and what it means to you and what you're kind of looking through and expressing through those different patterns.
I kind of go back and forth with like more representational, or like if I'm focusing on like a piece of, it's mostly color. And I think that really inspires me, and I always have been drawing this very gestural pattern that I just kind of go with it, and then I just kind of move and build up to this imagery that I can kind of see. So it's in a way it's kind of like memory keeping of this pattern, color, and trying to like execute that in a very gestural, controlled way.
One of the elements of your work that I really like is these kind of maybe covert elements that if you don't, that for those who are in the know, I think you can immediately recognize, like here, there's like, maybe that's a Basel margarine container that's right in front of those buns, or like in another one, there's a jar of China lily, soy sauce, or cans of Pepsi or Coca-Cola. And I think in my experience seeing your work and having it in our museum and showing it to people, it is often a clue for Indigenous people, and it's something that they really respond to. And I wonder, being that you're both Inuvialuit and Gwich'in, if you could talk a little bit about that, your Indigenous audience, and what it means to you, and what your kind of like the kind of signal that you offer to Indigenous people in your paintings, like that.
Yeah, and I like, I think it's staples. It's things that iconography that you have grown up with. It's like it's the thing that sustained us, and I think it's I don't know, it's a funny humor thing that I love to like show, and I think it's like it's a very like universal thing of Pepsi as an iconography, and it's just, to me, that is such a crazy, like cool conversation and representation too, because it's like, I don't know, it's an iconic color,
yeah,
and an experience, and it's a shared thing that everyone too can feel on a certain level.
Yeah.
And but again, yeah, it's just like a shared joke that it's like it's fun to,
a shared experience.
Yeah.
You know, for those who aren't aware, you know, food security in the north is a big deal, and there are limited options at the grocery store sometimes, and so maybe your family will only ever have the one same kind of soy sauce,
Yeah.
or if they have options, they have very strong opinions on one or the other.
or they only will have the one soy sauce,
Yeah.
even after trying the other ones. Yeah.
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 But I think also the bingo here, we see these amazing bingo cards. You can actually see that the bingo game has not begun.
Yeah.
Only the center square has been dabbed, the free square, and then I love the kind of presentation here of what is about to unfold around this table with this beautiful cake that's been baked by Jiju, who, although is not present, is referenced. But there are such beautiful and delicate elements here. I think the bags that these buns are in, just painted on this white line that's really barely visible against the ground of the painting, the raw canvas underneath. It's just amazing, and the way that, you know, the patterns that we see here with the tablecloth, the static pattern on the television, they just really reward you when you look at them, because they unfold, and then these things that at first seem really abstract kind of come into full focus. I was really struck looking at this work, and maybe it's because the lighting is so bright here, but if you get up close, you can really see this kind of sparkle to the surface of the work.
Yeah.
And I know that that is something that's been with your work for such a long time now, but for those who aren't aware, I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what you're doing to treat the canvas and what we're seeing when we see this kind of glimmer on the surface.
Yeah. It's I use rabbit skin glue, which is basically gelatin, and it's one part like water, and then it's like that you have to soak the gelatin to make like this gel, and then once you heat it, I microwave it at my studio, and I always say it's all good, I swear. And I like it more than gesso, clear gesso, and I think when I first started, like specifically like a similar scene as this is like a spring scene, is like, how do I capture this bright light, this snow, without doing like a huge amount of white? And I think it kind of loses that effect that I want it to have. And I think when I experimented with different primers, I liked how this looked, and I liked how delicate it is, and it kind of reflects similar way the way snow reflects light. So yeah, it's like rabbit skin glue, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Which is a traditional thing in the history of oil painting, goes
Yeah.
back hundreds of years, but it is translucent, but it kind of also, it kind of seals the canvas
Yeah.
surface and also makes it a little bit tighter,
Yeah.
So that the surface is actually quite taut.
Yeah.
But then it also gives this beautiful
Yeah.
shimmer, and then I mean, one of the elements of your work that I am drawn to so much is the use of negative space. I think it leaves room for interpretation of a memory, or of something that is half remembered, half conjured, thinking about a place maybe when you're not there, or like a kind of faded photograph that would have been left out. But and so you use oil paints, and I'm so drawn to this use of this almost like day glow neon color, and how that pops out. And is that being used to draw specific attention to things? I've seen it kind of recur in a few of these paintings.
For the
This really neon color that you're using.
Yeah, I think I guess it's just like a very specific color and choice that I like to make, because these exist, and I think the color itself is so luscious to me, and I think it's something that I can't not paint. Yeah.
I wonder if you could describe what we're looking at in this painting called An Elder's Collection.
Yeah, I first did this one actually. So I did that little snippet on the roof, and I was like, wait, I have a picture of that. I'm gonna do that onto this painting. And it's a really old photograph that I had for an elder who passed away, and his name is escaping me right now, but I like, it's just the composition of it. I liked, it's like controlled but abstract, and I liked how I can play with form and shadows. And to me, it's like a very iconic and staple to see it on top of people's shacks, roofs. It's like a very thing you would see like back up in Tuk. And to me, it's always so interesting to me how the shadows just kind of play.
Yeah.
And it's just hard not to, and it was very hard. But after a while, it's kind of like you're making your own shadows and your own pattern with it too. So.
Yeah. So I guess for people who don't know who are not immediately able to recognize what this is seasons of caribou that have been hunted. These are the antlers that are then being displayed, almost like a humble brag kind of, but also I think a point of pride that someone has hunted and harvested these animals, made the food available to the community, and then maybe doesn't have immediate use for the antlers, but is putting them there to dry out, and maybe in the future they'll find a home as an artwork or as some kind of other tool or use. But also becoming an artwork through these two really extraordinary paintings that you've made. Going back to pattern, I wonder if we could talk about the sky and kind of where the inspiration for this came from. I mean, there's a beautiful patterning as well on the kind of wooden surface of the home below, but the sky is just so captivating.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I saw the blue and I was like, it's something that radiates, it's something, I don't know, it's like the kind of sky that like, it's like going to be a different color from the sunset. So I kind of just went with it because I like the control and how I like to be concise, but I also like the gestural part of painting and having that play with it. So kind of mimicking different variations of the sky and kind of just going for it and mimicking what I kind of see and would have imagined the sky would look like.
Yeah. Was this the last work of this group that you made?
No.
No. Okay.
No, it was the skidoo.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
That was like kind of like the last like gestural.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one was pretty close though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can see that you're going somewhere new.
Yeah.
And that it is like this kind. I feel like this is a kind of glimpse, maybe, at what is to come, because it feels like it's looking back at some of the previous abstract work, but also approaching it in a really new way. I wonder if we could also talk about this amazing work of the hands here and the perspective that we're looking up at this table.
His name is Nunki, and that's my uncle, and he was sewing, and I had a very, not even a photo of him, but I just had just taking pictures of his patterns, and these are just cutouts of like just regular paper, and they're like floral patterns for like slippers, for mitts, and he's like transferring them, and then I'm just digging. I'm just like, can you show me more? So it's just kind of like having tea, and then he's just sewing.
Yeah. And
he helped me make my first pair of slippers, which was, nice. And
using one of these patterns.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that the patterns offer this like blank space right in the middle of the composition. It's such an engaging element of this work. But I also love the perspective that we see, because it does feel so much like a memory. The scissors are so big compared to some of the other things that we're looking at. Really just fantastic. And there's one last work that kind of, I ran past it because I forgot about it as I brought everyone here. But this work here that kind of greets you when you come in, I wonder if you could kind of describe this scene and what we're looking at in this work.
I named this one Midway Lake. It's a music festival that happens in Midway, which is about 2 hours, an hour outside of Fort McPherson. And it's just along, and hence the title of the exhibition is Along the Peel River. So it's like kind of a different direction from the Mackenzie. And the music festival is a weekend, and some people have tent frames, cabins, so they like stay the week or they stay the weekend, and it's all you hear is fiddle music, drum dance, like all night, like sometimes till 3 a.m., 5 a.m., depending how lively people are. So it's just kind of like a little snippet. And I was trying to describe this before. It's like when I tried to take a photo of it and I didn't like it, and then I tried to, I don't know, I was trying to capture what I'm trying to see versus like this very crisp, like photo. And then I tried with different variations, and this is kind of like an iteration that I'm happy with.
Yeah. So how I interpret this, and I'm curious, that this is like a wooden structure with plywood around the walls, and then this top element and the roof are like tarps or something.
Yeah.
And so the sunlight shining through this is at a time, I'm guessing, of 24 hours of sunlight, that the sun is kind of bathing this whole structure in this beautiful glowing blue light that is kind of infecting every element except for the open door that looks out onto the landscape beyond, that is like so bleached with sun, and it is also just this open with possibilities, right, of the landscape beyond. But it's so different. I mean, at first it was such a standout because it was so different than everything else, because all of the interiors are these domestic scenes. But I think it's so charming because of the, you see the kind of fresh groceries just put on the table there, the China lily. This is funny because you've got both Pepsi and Coke, so that people are being fully. There's something for everyone, no matter what very specific camp you're a part of.
Yeah.
But it's such a beautiful work, and I think it was really successful in expressing this feeling of this place. Well, thank you. Thank you for your generosity and for sharing all of this with us. We're also lucky to be here.
Thank you.